Good morning, everyone. Over here at James Beaver's office in Envoy, the headquarters in Houston. Welcome to us.
Hey, thanks for being here, guys. It's great.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having us.
Glad to have you.
We've got a lot of questions about interest rates these days. I think that Joe and I can attest that every conversation we are having with our clients are about interest rates and where they're going and how it's affecting real estate these days. So we've got one of the experts here, James Beaver. We're going to talk about that. Next week is a huge spike raise that we're thinking about is going to happen in the markets, and it could go up a whole point, right?
Yeah, so there's the Fed is meeting next week, and there's certainly they're gonna raise the rate, and the expectation has been that they're gonna probably raise it by 1 point.
Yeah.
In the last few days, it's kind of been whispered that it's gonna probably be a 3/4 point.
Okay. So not as high as we were once thinking it might be.
Well, we'll see what happens, but that's kind of the buzz right now.
Okay.
So.
And the other thing that we have been talking about is what a couple of months ago we increased the rates at 3/4 point. And what did that happen? How did that affect the mortgage rates today?
Yeah, so the Fed raised the rate by 3/4 point last month, and that actually was a move that the markets liked from the standpoint of the Fed's trying to control inflation. And, inflation is kind of the enemy of bonds, and most mortgages are tied to bonds, mortgage-backed securities especially. And so what we saw actually is that when the Fed raised the rate, there was a positive response in the bond market, and it caused mortgage rates to go down a little bit. So obviously they're still higher than where we were 6, 7, 8 months ago.
Yeah.
But we actually saw a little bit of an improvement in mortgage rates over the last month.
So it sounds like to me we're going to have another increase in mortgage rates at the beginning. It could, if it happens the same way, we have an increase in mortgage rates, and then it may come back down again later on this year, possibly.
Well, no. So just to clarify, when the Fed raises the rate, they are not directly adjusting mortgage rates. The mortgage rates tend to move as a result of what's happening, especially in the areas of inflation right now. That's the big driver. And so when the Fed raises rates, it's potentially that we're going to see mortgage rates come down a little bit. We don't know. It's been a very volatile year, so it's hard to predict what's going to happen exactly. But frequently we get a lot of calls when the Fed raises the rates,
right,
where people are they're like, oh my gosh, the rates are going up, mortgage rates are going up, and oftentimes it's the opposite. They're going down a little bit. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how the market responds to whatever the Fed's decision is next week. I would anticipate that we'll continue to see some volatility this year. What we really need to see is some stability, some predictability in terms of just economic reports that will drive some more predictable mortgage rates for us the rest of the year.
Great.
Yeah. So I have a couple of buyers that are a little nervous to buy right now because of interest rates. What are some things? What's some information that you have for buyers that feel like maybe right now is not the best time to buy?
Yeah, I think now is a very good time to buy for a few reasons. First of all, at a very high level, we have an inventory issue. We've had an inventory issue here for a few years now, and I don't think that's going away anytime soon. I think we go just to the basics of supply and demand. There is a limited supply of housing, and the demand is not going away.
Right.
And so I would think that you're going to continue to see some appreciation on the homes. I don't think the pace of appreciation will be as high as we've seen the last couple of years, but I think there's going to still be some appreciation of home prices. And so if someone's thinking about buying a home, but they're kind of chasing an interest rate environment,
right,
I think what they're going to see is that housing prices will continue to kind of go upward.
Exactly.
And so are rents, by the way. Rents are going up at an even higher rate. So it's kind of, I think, a good time right now. It's not quite as frenzied in the marketplace right now. So it's a little bit more of a shift to where I think sellers can work with buyers a little bit more to find the right kind of situation on a house price.
Yeah, we have definitely seen a reduction in multiple offer situations happening.
Yeah,
the contingencies that, hey, we don't care about an inspection period, or we don't care about an appraisal or anything like that. Those are all going away, which meaning, the buyers are having more control over the marketplace at the moment than they were in the past.
Right.
So I agree with you. I think this is a great time to get into the market and go find a house.
Yep.
Especially some that might be a little overpriced because they were on the market in May or April.
Yep.
And now, they're going to have to do a little bit of price adjusting because of the market right now.
Yep.
Okay, so, and for all of our buyers out there that are thinking that this is a good time to get into the market, we've got a few more strategies that we've been talking about within our group. And James, what are a couple of those strategies?
Well, there's a couple of things, and they're really different schools of thought. Okay, so it's not a one-size-fits-all strategy for sure.
Right.
I think what we're seeing is that investors who buy mortgages are not super excited about paying a lot of premium for those mortgages right now. I think there's a lot of unpredictability in what's going to happen. I think a lot of what it indicates to us is I think that the people who are way smarter than me and know a lot more than I do are probably expecting that rates will come down when we very likely hit a recession.
Sure.
And if that's the case, many of our clients are expecting to be able to refinance in the next year or two.
Right.
And so if that's the case for many people, they think, hey, look, why would I pay more in fees to buy the rate down? I'll just take a higher rate. Let me get the house right now. And they're expecting they're going to be able to refinance in short order. That's one school of thought, and it's very different from another school of thought, which is where someone's trying to buy a home at a price point that has become challenging for them to purchase. Because of rates going up, now the payment is becoming a burden, but they really need to be in that area, right? And they really that's the whatever the neighborhood, the schools, whatever it is driving that decision. And the monthly payment is really their pain point. And so for those folks, we're doing a lot more in negotiations with the sellers, where the sellers will pay a couple of points, a couple of 2% of the price toward the buyer's closing cost, and then we're using that money to buy the interest rate down. And we're seeing people. I mean, I saw one scenario where it was, I think it was a $500,000 house, and by buying the rate down with a seller contribution, it lowered the buyer's payment by almost $300.
Nice.
Well, that was a meaningful number for them, right?
Yeah.
And so that's a different strategy. It's a totally different school of thought. You're negotiating. Essentially, you're negotiating for a little bit higher price than you would have bought the house for otherwise.
Right.
But it's
lower
really
interest
making an impact on their monthly payment.
Yeah.
So,
That's
anyways, just a
right.
couple of things to think about
Yeah.
that we've found have been
Right.
useful strategies to talk through with people.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
Nice.
either way, it's very important that you get with someone that knows what they're doing. And Joe and I have worked with Mr. Beaver here for a long time here at Envoy.
Mr. now.
Yeah, Mr. Beaver.
Mr. Beaver.
And we're very happy, and our clients are very happy working with James as well. So if you need any help, reach out to James, and we are more than happy to get you situated with him. I'm Darren Morris with the Garcia Group.
Joe Ross, the Garcia Group.
James Beaver with Envoy Mortgage. Thanks
There
for
you
being
go.
here, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.